So, I've been doing some testing with blueprints over the last couple of weeks, and I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm sure some of you have had similar experiences with them where you just don't see them as being that practical. So, we're going to be talking about some of the issues with blueprints and some of the things that I think the dev team could do to try to fix them and make them a little bit more used and meta, if that is the case that they want to add them to the base game, which it seems that they do. So let's go ahead and check out some of these ideas and see if we can't figure out what is broken about the blueprint system. First problem is when selecting your constructor, it takes a couple minutes for you to verify what the blueprint is that you're actually trying to build, and it can take a couple cycles through in order to figure out what one you're searching for. 9 seconds here, which isn't too bad. Now, however, when doing it yourself, it turns out to be almost the same time, but you feel like you have a little bit more freedom to maneuver things, and I don't know if that cuts down enough time to really matter. And this works the same way with both fortifications and with any other type of blueprints you might have. Economy, fortifications, it doesn't matter. It's about the same amount of time as you try to build them yourself versus placing down the blueprint. Now the question is, why does this happen? And I believe there's two major reasons for it, which we will be getting into later. So why haven't blueprints become a standard use in most people's builds? And I believe this comes down to one main thing, and that is the fact that when you're building with blueprints, you begin to lose the freedom of mobility in the middle of what you're doing. So say you have issues on your front line while you're also taking care of your economy, it eliminates your ability to cycle that time between priorities. This might not sound like a big deal, but on the battlefield, it can be a little bit jarring having to search for a blueprint you want to place down while simultaneously having to worry about your front line being destroyed because you were stuck looking for a blueprint that was hidden behind your Cortex or your Legion blueprints. So this could definitely hamper the ability of players to attempt to use blueprints just because it doesn't give the mobility required. But the real question is, how do you solve this problem? And the answer is quite simple, because it's already largely been solved with key bindings. I believe a great solution would be for the dev team to add a section down here in the bottom that has your blueprints listed. It can be whether you have your construction units selected or not, and from there you can see all of the blueprints that you have created. You could improve this further by adding 3 sections for 3 factions and all the blueprints for those factions. Another potential placement would be towards the top right corner where the menus are. That space is largely available, but I think this is probably a worse location due to the fact that it would largely cover the screen. Now, this conversation has come up on Reddit a couple times, and as you can see here, there was some discussion about it, but it's still probably kind of on the back burner, so I don't expect to see these changes for quite some time now. But we can keep hopeful that the dev team will implement some of these shifts in the UI to make blueprints a little bit more accessible in the future. So until the blueprint situation is solved, for now I'm largely going to have only 4 blueprints. I'm not going to have any blueprints for Legion, 2 for Cortex, and 2 for Armada. 1 being my economy blueprint and 1 being a generalized defensive blueprint, and those are all going to be for T1, as I don't see a reason to make blueprints currently in their state in T2. Thank you all for watching. If you got value, subscribe. If you liked the video, then like the video. If you want to hang out with me, join the Discord, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.